it can be a little difference between the surfaces. If you have a wider one, as on this side, if we turn this one upside down, you can see the surface here is a bit narrower. So if you build with this kind of timber, you see it from the end, you always do the narrow part on top, because you will have this every time. If you turn it around, the narrow one down and the wide one here, you will have these, so the water will seep. This is important. But it makes no difference which way it's turned when you make the notches, because the notches shall be equal both sides. But I always put a narrow surface up when I do the notches. I have no special conclusion on that. It suits me better. And the idea with this notch is we always work on the center line in the lock. This is the center line. I do it with a chalk line. The distance between the notches is going to be very precise. Let's say it's precise 2 meters, 200 centimeters from the middle to the middle of the notch. You always go in center lines or middle of the lock when you measure in round timber or this kind of timber. Also, when you are building, this one can be like this, so you have to have a center line from bottom, so it ends up the same place in the top when you are building a house. Be precise with this one. The notch is made out of a square. We use this here, and I take these lines from corner to corner, and this is very precise, the same every time I do the notch. So I take away this part and take away this part. Can you imagine that? So if I do this precisely on all the locks, every notch fits every notch. And that is what makes it very easy to build with. If the distance here is precise, the notch is equal, you can take this part. If you put this one on top of this one, we call them the cheeks. The cheeks will fit, and also in the middle. And it's not have no importance if this one is maybe wider. The lines is still the same. The cheeks will get bigger or smaller. So it's just a question of how it looks, but it will always fit together. You can do this manual. We have these jigs, scabeloner. It takes a little bit more time. If the locks if they're straight, of course it's much better than if it's bending too much. But this one is straight, so it's easy for this. The surface here is almost on center. It's the same amount of wood here and wood here. 23, 11.5, like this. If it is bending in one end a little, you go a little bit where it's straight. And this one is straight. Down here it's 20.8, it's 10.4, ungefähr. This is a line with chalk. You can have it blue or red. Just do like this. Take it off. Are you ready? Thank you. We're not going to build a house. We're just going to do some notches. So now it's precisely 2 meters between the notches. Okay. So I hope this will be okay. So I have a hole here. I find my cross I made, 2 meters mark. I have a little mark here. I have a little mark here. And then I should have had 2 small holes here, screwing screws, but I don't. So if the locks and these fits together, it should be precisely above each other. So now it's quite easy. I take my pencil and I do like this, and I put it like this. So this is one side. We have to do the other side. Somebody wants to do this. I'll find a chainsaw. This one always has to be smaller than the surface. So when I did these notches, when I was building lots of shelters and small huts, we had machines to do it, so it was very precise every time we did the cheeks as well, and also these ones. But you can do it for free with a chainsaw. Just try to be precise. Every carpenter and every lock builder, whatever, works with lines, never take away the line. When you try to cut on the inside of the line with the chainsaw, but it can be done. Let's move it a little up here. Just push it a little up. You have to look the way you are going to cut. So you have to look down this line on the inside here. So you can see where you're going to. So now I can see what I'm doing again. So next time we remove this one, this part, put the next log in, remove it, all the way up. Uffe han siger, det kan være, det går bedre. You have an iron like this, thinner, and you have holes in it. There's a hole there maybe, there. It holes in yarn skin, but this you can have different holes placed different places depending what you're building. This is always the center of a notch. And then you have the jig is like this, and in this space, this can be. So if you see this from the end, so you can place it. And it, of course, it has a little nut like this that fits in the hole. If you see this one from the side, it has like this. Yeah. So if you look from the top, if you put an iron this way, this one is placed on top of this one. Click, it says. You have a chainsaw on here. You have a piece of iron like this. This one you place down in this one. Can you see that? I'll have the always saw on the opposite side where I'm standing. Whoop. And then I just turn around. Whoop. So very quickly I can do all the cheeks cuts. And we had another chainsaw. Here's sticker. It's a chainsaw when you can go directly down and up again. Also on a piece of iron like this that I could click on. So I did the cheeks first, and afterwards I did the cuts with the sticker, and they fell out. And all the cheeks were, all the notch sides were made. We had a little cow, as we call it in Denmark. We put over and make the lines, so we could start out just like we did now. This is a way to do it. Yeah.